Hi everyone, this is Heather Lottinen from the Flourish.Academy. This is episode 247. Today we are talking about cropping your images. A couple of days ago in the FA community, we were talking about cropping photos, and there are a few general rules you should probably follow in cropping. I have several videos available on the Flourish.Academy blog regarding this subject, but I just wanted to explain a couple of things. Number one is I always recommend cropping to the original aspect ratio. That is the ratio that comes out of your camera, which is 2:3. So you would want to maintain that ratio inside of Lightroom or Photoshop. There are a couple different ways. Again, I have videos on this, but you definitely would not want to crop your images to specific sizes such as 8:10 or 5:7. You want to always maintain the original crop ratio. Okay, so that's number one. The second thing is how much can or should you crop an image? Does it degrade the quality? So cropping in of itself is not going to degrade the image quality of the file. That is, if you take a JPEG and you crop it, the file doesn't lose any quality per se. The only time an issue would occur is during print. So if you decided to enlarge that photo, you could have a quality issue because you have taken away pixels. Now, how much can you crop is highly dependent on the camera that you're using. So for instance, if you have a newer full frame camera, you could probably crop a little bit more of the frame than you could if you had an older APS-C cropped sensor camera. So it depends on what you're shooting. That's the first thing. But how much should you crop? I typically don't recommend cropping more than about 10% of the image. And again, I have this on video so you can see what I'm talking about. I had a friend once who was starting photography. She took a photo, a big group family photo. So think several people, far back, big group family photo. And I was watching her edit this photo. She finished editing, she exported it. Then she went into the photo and proceeded to crop headshots of everybody. Big family photo. She was cropping headshots of each person. No, you cannot do that. Not now, not ever. You're cropping away all of those pixels. Now, could it work as a file to post online to show somebody? I suppose. But if you tried to order a print of that, it would look ridiculous. So what you need to be concerned with is enlargements. If you are producing work for clients, then I wouldn't recommend cropping massive amounts of the photo out and then delivering those files. The files might look great, but when they go to order, say, a 24:36 or even an 11:14, if you cropped too much of the frame, you've lost pixels, you've lost data. Therefore, the lab enlarges it, which ends up being magnified, which will absolutely impact photo quality. So some people will say to me, well, I'm just going to take these photos and I will crop them later. Or I'll take that photo and if I want to get in much tighter, I'll just do it later. False, negative. I would not recommend doing that. I would recommend shooting the image as you want it to be. Yes, I do crop my images, there's no question, but I crop them slightly. I crop them to level them, or I crop them just to change the composition a little bit, but I never do any major cropping of these photos. Please be very careful. If you're not sure you understand, what I'm gonna do is post the links below to these videos. I implore you to watch them if you are doing any significant cropping to your images, especially if you're doing this for clients. Now, the good news is that Lightroom is non-destructive. So if you're cropping in Lightroom, you exported that file to a new JPEG and you did not overwrite the original, you can always go back to the original and that full file is there because when you press R on your keyboard, the crop tool is non-destructive. You'll see the entire frame and then you can essentially undo the crop that you created. May I ask you, have you done this? Have you done major cropping on your photos? It's okay, I won't judge you. Some people do it, they don't realize what they're doing. Again, if this is a photo that you took of your chickens, and you wanted to crop in on one of your handsome roosters and post just that rooster, then that would be fine. It's your personal photos, do whatever you want. But if you're doing this for clients, I would just not recommend cropping more than about 10% of your frame. And this also does depend on your camera. I hope that you found this useful. I'll see you in the next video.